Hey bitches, welcome back to Cause and Chaos.
You're here with Emma
and Ebony. We're here to cause chaos,
spill the tea,
and tell you stories
we probably shouldn't be telling. How have you been, Ebony?
Fab.
Ebony's really hungover, so she's a bit like
guys, I'm so delally, but luckily we've got a guest today.
Yes, so she can carry the episode.
Yeah.
How are you, Emma?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Hungover.
Are you single? Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully.
How's your dating life been?
Not great, but it's funny. It's just great to be able to bam up all these guys now because they've done it for so long. So I'm like, fuck you, it's my turn.
Honestly, we are so like when we are single, we're so bad.
Yeah, we are
like,
so bad.
Yeah, I went through quite a I was watching your podcast the other weekend. Like I went through like the pure whole phase, and then I was like, like nobody likes me anymore. So,
no, that was
just stop. Like nobody's getting feelings. I'm just in a hole.
Do you want to get in another relationship?
I don't think so right now. No, I think. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm just liking my life.
Like focusing on you and stuff.
I think if I rushed into anything, I would end up turning out like my ex.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that on anybody else just yet. So
yeah. Do you have a bad experience with your ex?
Many.
What's like the worst thing? Would you say?
The fact that his gran died at least 16 times during the. I could count on my hands and toes how many times she died. We'd been together for about 2 years or something. At this point, it was in the middle of summer, and I was like repulsed by him at this point, and I was just like, I don't even want to be with him anymore. But I didn't want to leave yet. I was like, I want to make this kind of work for like my family, and like that was never going to happen. Don't know why I thought this. He comes in, and I'm looking at him, and I'm going. You make me feel sick to my stomach. And he's lying on a couch, and I'm like sat here, and he's like lay here, and he looks up at me, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to tell him that I don't want to be with him anymore. I want to just cut it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love you. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest, I don't really love you anymore.
Oh God.
Like, my gran's just died. He's like, oh my God, like my heart was racing. And I was like, I need to take a Propanol. Like this has made me feel so bad.
Yeah.
I come in and I'm like, right, do you know what? I'm going to go to Lidl. I'm going to pick us up one of them big lasagnas. Everything will be fine. A Lidl lasagna sorts everything out. He comes back to my house a week later. He doesn't come back for this Lidl lasagna. He comes in, he eats it a week later, and he was like, blah, 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 yes, something about my gran. And I was like, your gran died? And he's like, I never said that to you.
Did?
You told me your gran. I've just went and told everybody your granny's dead.
So like, what, your fucking lasagna and stayed with you?
I never said that. He's like, thanks for the lasagna, but you owe me £2.79. I was like, I can't believe that.
The actual fuck?
Your gran died so many times. But
is she dead?
I don't think so. I think she's still alive and
You never met her? Have you never met her?
Never met her.
No.
Oh my God.
My son, he was meant to get put on the will as well. Like his mum had phoned me and she was like, oh, we want to put him on the will. And I was like, she's never met him. So we're going to need a DNA test. I was like, hold the bus. A DNA test. I'm like, well, he can go pay for it. I think you should.
Fucking right.
I know.
I was
like, you
nah.
know.
What, did they not believe you that it's his?
No,
what
they still
fuck?
don't believe to this day. He went back and forth where he was like, oh yeah, I know he's mine, and then anytime it would come to an argument, it would be
he's not
he
mine.
Doesn't even look like me. He's not mine. That's such and such as your
that's
slag
fucking
back in the day.
evil.
Like I've not been married in like 6 years because of you.
I know.
What's your top say? Dump him.
I love it. Very on brand.
I know.
That is so cute.
See the way he was very attention seeking to the point with everything where he would do things to make like you feel sorry. I was to like go and help him, and I'm like, you're so stupid.
Yeah.
But I was stupid enough to be like, oh, like, are you okay? Why did you do that? Are you feeling like sad with your life and that? Like I think something bad's going on. He was just being attention seeking. This time he was coming back up from the shop. He was going to get drink, and he'd come back in, and I was like, what's that prescription? He was like, oh, I've just found it on the street. And I went, all right, like, are you going to like hand it back into the doctors or something? He was like, no, what are amitriptyline? I'm going to take them. And I'm like, not in my house, you're not. So I had left and I had went to a shop or something as well, came back and the packet was all empty, and I'm like,
He's overdosed.
So he actually
took a tray of them, and I'm like, I don't even know what they do. Turns out they're a muscle relaxer, right? So I'm like, he's passed out on my couch, and I'm like, see if he shits himself. Like I'm not cleaning that.
That's your first thought, not about him dying or nothing. You're going to shit on my couch.
Please be alive.
Put shit on my couch.
A 26-year-old man, I was like, if you shit yourself on my couch, that's it, we're over. So when it was, he fell asleep, and it was his pal that was in as well, and I was like, why is he took them? Like, what if he takes a seizure or something? I was panicking and everything. His pal was like, I think we should do his makeup. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
in fact, I'm going to see if I've got the picture on my phone of it so I can show you a picture and put him on my story. But it was on a private story, so it was not a couple of people. It was on it. He woke up and he was foaming, like the rage in his face, like there was nothing in his eyes. And I was like, yeah, I think I might have fucked this.
Yeah.
I took it as a joke. He didn't like to be embarrassed, but he liked to be the one that embarrassed other people. Like, you've just embarrassed yourself taking a full tray almond triptyline on my couch anyway.
I know, like what the fuck?
I remember one time when my ex fell asleep, everyone was putting fake tan on him, but different part of his body.
No, so it was all
Like, they
blotchy.
tanned one leg, one arm. Do you know? So he didn't even have a nice wee tan. He was just like one leg, one arm,
That's brilliant.
half an ear. Do you know?
I feel like stuff like that, makeup washes off and all that,
I
right?
know.
See if you're shaving somebody's hair or eyebrows, that's a bit too
that's
fucking
too
far.
far.
But like makeup's fucking funny. I'd be
know.
woke up like, oh right, okay, what's fucking
I
happening?
used to
I don't
hate.
think I could deal with permanent marker.
No,
I used to
neither,
hate- I
no.
used to hate falling asleep in gas when I knew people would join me.
Yeah,
I'd
I
fuck, no.
couldn't.
So I'd just be up for days on it because I'd like that.
I remember my
one to fall
pal years
asleep.
ago,
Yeah.
we were in a house party and thankfully it wasn't permanent marker, it was just like a biro pen.
Aye.
She had drew like glasses on me like a Harry Potter scar. Like,
Oh my God.
And I woke up and I was in a random house and I was like, I don't know where my shoes are. So I ended up walking
And you don't
barefoot.
look in a mirror either, so
I
you
walked barefoot from this house with a Harry Potter scar, dicks and that drawn up and down my arms. I was like, didn't know anything about it. Walked barefoot from this house over to my pals, and I was like, "Where's my shoes?" And she went, "I put water in them and put them in the freezer."
oh my God.
Dead.
No,
That's
that's the ultimate walk of shame.
brilliant. No,
That
that
is
is.
the
I've done
ultimate
that.
That was so bad. Our dad was outside and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just don't have my shoes." And he was like, "You've got dicks like drawn up and didn't
Oh God.
have a screw in." I went in.
Used to put furniture on people and all that. Mine.
Oh my God, when they'd be sleeping on the couch and they'd do that. No, that is so
Done that years
bad.
ago, and it was like a pure party gaff, and the two people that owned the house had fell asleep and we started like piling like microwaves and that stuff on top of
That is
I woke up
brilliant.
pure raging.
I love it. But and mind as well, people used to like turn people's like photos upside down. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Aye, right. So like, say there was a portrait of their family and all that.
They
in the
turn
hall,
it up-
they turn it
uh-huh.
upside down. All their photos.
That's
in the house.
actually
funny.
that is funny.
I know. No one's ever done that to me, right enough, but I would find that so funny.
No, I would.
Because I probably wouldn't notice for months. I don't notice.
I would.
just be walking
Who
about.
actually goes about
My
staring
dog
at the
upside
photos? Literally.
In that relationship, right? Like, obviously, do you know how when you're in the relationships, like throughout the relationship, you're like, oh yeah, like he's so fine, he's so fine. Did you find yourself being like, oh, but we're good this week?
Like,
Yeah.
so I used to actually write like lists of like pros and cons, and I'd be like, yeah, but like, he might do all this, there might be more cons, but he done this for me, like, and it'd be something ridiculous, like pure general needs, like kind of thing. Like he went and put the washing in, or like some. I remember one of the times he went out and put my washing out, and I thought it was like the bee's knees, and all my neighbours were roasting
That's
because he
what
put things
they're
up
like.
like one peg, or like just put them over with a peg, and I was like, my washing was all blown about with the bat, and I was like, that's so sweet.
Like, he's hung up my washing the bare fucking minimum.
Bare minimum shit.
Yeah,
I know.
But it actually makes you delusional when you're in relationships like that.
Definitely.
Like you're like, oh yeah, like
Yeah.
that's so nice. Thank you for buying me that brownie.
I know.
Like matter that you were hitting me
you were
earlier.
cheating
Thanks
on
for the
me.
brownie. Yeah.
Like, it's
Like-
fine. He cheated on me, but he said he loves me this week. Like,
I know.
and
It's
we're
all
good this
good.
week. Like, nah.
That's
Yeah.
the whole way my relationship was. I'd be like, nah, I'm never getting back with him. Like, that's us, we're finished. And then it would come to it and I'd be like, but he's just turned up at my door and he said he's going to buy me lunch tomorrow. That lunch would never happen.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
I
what a bugger.
I do tend to find that a lot of people, like a lot of my pals have been in relationships like that, and they go, no, we've had a really, really good month. Like,
That's
Yeah.
me.
What,
that
like,
that was me.
in a relationship, it should be good majority
All the
of
time. Yeah.
Yeah, like with Kieran, and like now that I'm with him, like I never go, we've had a good month. Like, it just is good.
Same with me,
You know what-
really. But in my past, I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we've had a great 2 weeks. Like, no arguing, no nothing bad's happened."
I know.
Like, why the
And you
fuck are you
kinda cling
counting?
onto that.
Why are you counting the fucking weeks?
I know.
That's
I
good?
know.
Like,
I
it's
know.
actually.
Things used to go good for me when he was at my house, and then he would leave and you wouldn't hear from him for like 3
Yeah.
weeks again, and you'd be like, what the
Where
fuck?
are
And
you?
then he would come back, and little did I know he was out cheating on me like the entire time. Like, he was away for the 3 weeks, and then he would come back and he would be like, oh, I love you, like, let's go do this, let's go do that. And I'm like, all right, okay, like,
Yeah.
everything's back to normal, and I'm like, I've just
Like, we're
wound up
just
with
going
that.
to.
Aye. Was it after the relationship, right? Or was it during it where like one day you were like, what the fuck?
I think a kind of turning point for me was, it was back in May 2021. It was like his birthday, and he didn't invite me out. Like, he had says that all week, oh, that you can come out with us, we'll go to the pub and we'll do this, that, and the next time. When it came to it, it was like, oh, I just want to have a boys' night. So I was like, oh, that's fine, but I've got a babysitter, so I'm just going to go out anyway. Ended up, I went out and he went out, but when he phoned me, he was like, oh, like, you need to be back at your house now, like, I'm coming up now. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, but it's not me. And I think because I started to kind of like rebel, that's when I started to realise. It was that weekend that he come back in and he was like, oh, you've obviously been out cheating on me, you've been with guys and that. And I was like, I was in a pub with guys, but
you were
I wasn't physically, I didn't invite them out to go. I mean, even if I did, like, what's that got to do with you?
I think, do you not think when they start blaming you, it's because they're projected?
It was Nick night, and I don't think that anybody should do this, right? But I was really insecure at a point. I went through his phone and I ended up finding messages. The reason he didn't want me to come out is because he was going to meet this other girl.
We go through everybody's phone.
It was just to go through mines, and he was really, really secret about it, but he was that stupid that he had his passcode as his birthday, so...
Oh God. That's like me. No, but like, I do think going through the phone, if you don't... Like, I don't go through Kieran's. I just know he's not doing it, but we're 3 years deep.
Yeah.
Like, if I thought maybe that he did you think? Or like maybe...
Because he always used to like do that with his phone and like turn it down,
hide it and all that.
He would be like, no, you can't go on my phone, but he would always like go through my messages and stuff. So if somebody had sent me like a random Snapchat, like, I don't know, it could be a picture of like their foot going to football or something, and he'd be like, who's that? Yeah. Who is it? Like, why did you open that Snapchat?
Yeah. Why are you going through my personal messages?
I always feel like they always put the like blame on you. Like see in arguments, right? Like with like people like that, right?
They gaslight you.
You go like that. Why did you do that? And like, well, you done that. So I used to argue like that though. I feel like I used to have like narcissistic traits in my like first relationship. I feel like I was quite like, I would never let myself be in the wrong. So see if he was like, why did you go out and do that to me? I'd like, well, you treated me like this, so I did it because of that.
No, that's like that's same as me, to be honest, but I'm really bad for that. I always say, right, like, if I do something that's bad, right, I'm a good person. If I do something that's bad, it's came through what you've done. That's my reaction to how
I'd
you've
always
done.
say that.
Like,
But I do think, like, even when you're doing nothing wrong, see in relationships like that, they're like, oh, you did it. They cling on to the tiniest thing you've done.
The tiniest little bit of
and they always accuse you of stuff they're doing. They're like, you're lying, you're cheating. No, you're lying and you're cheating.
I know.
No, me.
I know.
I don't know how many times that, like, it was like every, and it was this one particular guy that he used to think. Now, he used to ask me to go and get, like, can I say drugs on here?
Yeah.
He used to ask me to go and get drugs for him off this guy, but then, like, I was just talking about this in the car coming up. He would complain if I was 5 minutes late back down from the house. He'd be like, doesn't take you that long to walk up there. Yeah. I'm doing you a favour. You've told me to go to this guy's house and get it, and now you're accusing me of sleeping with him. How fast do you think he is? Like, you're ridiculous. And then it would be like, oh no, that I just don't trust it. He's messaged it. You messaged him off my phone to go get the stuff. You only sent me because he would have gave me more because I'm a girl. Yeah. Like, so you were the one that put me out there for that.
Yeah, and then you're blaming me. Like, what the fuck? No, that's so bad.
I met this one guy, right, and I swear to God, he literally, if I didn't text back within 10 minutes, he's like, where are you? Send me a photo then. Fuck off. I know. Send you a photo. I mean, I'm talking to my mum. Didn't reply for 10 minutes. I was talking to my mum. And he went, where are you? You've left me undelivered. And I went, I was talking to my mum. He went, send a photo of your mum then.
What?
Right, Mum, come here a minute.
Come here, I need to prove where the fuck I am.
Mum, come here a minute. So getting a wee selfie so I can prove to this guy that I'm with you.
My mum would actually go crazy if I ever said that to her. She'd be like, who the fuck? You don't need to prove anything.
I know.
Like, what the fuck?
I think that's too far.
It is too far. He used to do it all the time. And it's so weird because you just continue talking to them because you're like, oh, it's not that bad. But like, this wasn't any of my boyfriends, it was just a guy I was talking to. But even like I would go like that, oh, I'm just going to the gym. Oh, well, whereabouts in the gym? Like, you're obviously going with the guys, but fuck off.
Like, I'm in the gym to work.
I'm going into bench more than naked.
I'm going into the gym with my tits out. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Like, what do you actually think I'm doing? I look like a fucking mess in the gym. I'm not going
Especially guys, see if they're like that and they're not even in a relationship with you. That's a big red flag. In a relationship. Nah, that would be fucking game over. Like,
I know.
No.
Game over.
Be so bad. How did you and your ex like actually start like speaking?
Pure random gaff parties years ago, and he had come. We had been in my friends before it, and then we ended up coming back to mine's, and he was like a friend of mine's. So they were on the party, and it was just kind of random how we started speaking, and then the next minute I fell pregnant. But he didn't want anything to do with me the whole way during the pregnancy, but then he did and then he didn't. Like, I remember at the beginning he was like, oh, my friend's dad, like he wasn't letting his life, so I'm not going to do that to like our like son or daughter or whatever. And I was like, all right, like he seems like a really good guy. Then he said, when it was like when I found out his gender, it was like, oh, like, I thought you were going to go get a date. And I'm like, oh no, we're having a boy, by the way. Then he didn't take in to do me. He used to run away from me if he seen me in the street. He's not even from my town too, like he's from like away down the way. He used to always be in my town but run away if he seen me. And then it was like, I think it was like a day or two, it might have even been the same day after I had Colton, that he was like, he messaged my wee cousin and he was like, oh, how's Amy been, like how's things? And I'm like, how has Amy been? Yeah, I've pushed a 6-pound child out my vagina.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm like, you weren't there. And it was like a couple of weeks later and he was like trying to talk to me and that again, and I was like, maybe I should just kind of like give him a go, but I was seeing somebody else at the point, and I was just like, I don't really want to kind of jeopardise this relationship, to be honest. I should have. Then it was like pictures of him and he was strangling like a doll on somebody's Snapchat, and I was like, what, nah, like I'm not doing
And does
this.
he not see his son?
No. He was here for like 2 years, the last 2 years. I left him 2 years ago now, but it was like 2 years before that. But the years before that was like he ended up getting with some other girl who got her pregnant. Same stuff happened to her. Like, it was just horrible. I don't even know why I got into a relationship then, because he just lost his car before it, and I was like, I picked him up when he was skint. Like, why did I not go with him when he had a car and that? Why did you could have cheated on me, but at least you can drive me about places.
The start of a relationship, like usually with like narcissistic like men, usually they like do the love bomb and stuff, like pure nice, when like over the top.
Back, it was very, I always like kind of emphasise on like we and our and I, like they pure try and paint this picture. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do this for you and that this is going to happen, we are going to do this is our song, this is our favourite film,
they do
get married,
they
like,
do it's
and you're
so weird.
So when he come back the first night, that should have been my red flag right away. I was in painting and he turned up my house, it was during COVID, and I was like, right, okay, like I've not been out to see anybody, like he's not been out to see anybody, so fair dues. Turned up to my house and he was like, oh, like what you doing? I was like, oh sorry, I'm painting, like I'm just going to go in and get changed into this tracksuit, and I pretty much cut about in tracksuits anyway, like that's all I wear when I'm like sitting about the house. And he was like, whose tracksuit's that? And I'm like, mine. But I started laughing because I was like,
why the fuck you
jealous? Like, and he was like, so you going with anybody? And I was like, no. And then I started talking about like this guy that I used to hang about with, and he was like, what's his name? And I was like, oh, like blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, I don't like him, like I don't like the way you're speaking about him. And I'm like, oh my god, he's pure jealous. Then it was like a week later, I was in my neighbour's house and he was like, oh yeah, is your neighbour healthy? And I'm like, she's a she.
Oh, I hate that.
I was just like, oh, he's pure jealous.
Like jealous, like
realistically, if
like, he loves me
and jump at that point, I would have been fine.
Do you not think? See when they are so nice after it's been so bad, you're like, you cling on it.
Like mine used to buy me stuff, was over the top nice. Like I've got videos on my camera roll, right? So it would be the exact same, like a different day. So say it's the 15th of August, right? So it'd be the 15th, and I'm pure crying and like speaking on my private story with like one person in it, and I'm like, guys, he's done this. And then the next day it was videos of us kissing in bed and he's going, I love you so much, baby, and all that the next day. And I'm like, how did I not see that?
Yeah, because they are so bad, then when they're good, it's kind of like pushing and pulling, in it. Like they're 1 minute so bad to you, and then you're like, why are they like that? And then they come back pure nice, and you think, oh,
and you always make excuses. Like I remember I'd be like, oh, it's because he's passed, it's because of this, it's because of that. Like, no, my past was shitting on. I don't act like that.
Did your friends, like this is for both of you, did your friends like your
well, my mum.
Everybody hated him. Everybody from the get-go was like, what? Like, for a start, Amy, his eyes are too close together to his forehead. Like, what are you even thinking about thinking he's nice? Like, and I'm like, he's so nice. See, if I could have chose anybody else to be my child's father, if they were going to act the same way as him, I would have chose somebody who was rich. I don't know how I didn't see all these, like, people were saying to me, like, oh, you didn't drink for ages, Amy, and then you've, like, kind of went back down a bad path. I don't think you should be really doing that. And I'd be like, oh, but it's only sitting and having a couple of dragon suits, but them dragon suits would turn into a bottle of vodka, and then it would be, he'd go no contact, and I'd be sat there with 3 bottles of wine drinking myself, like, crying.
Oh, no. That's so sad. Did you become a worse version of yourself? Do you think that you started being bad as well?
Yeah, I didn't learn about this until after I left the relationship, because I would have said like the whole way through it, oh, like I'm toxic too, and then I realised, like, I watched this guy that's actually got narcissistic personality disorder online, and he'd said like, oh, like reactive abuse, it's like basically person A and person B, like they'll push and shove at you, and then you end
for
up
you to
explode.
explode. That's what I was saying
and then they're sat there
earlier.
and they're loving it, and they're
Like, it's
videoing
your
you and they're
reaction.
like, she's a pure
Yes,
psycho.
like what the fuck, and you
So I
think you're
used to think I was
crazy.
pure bad, and then push would come to shove, and I'm like, actually no, I was like that because of all the stuff you've done to me, and I never reacted to that.
Yeah.
And then when I did explode, it could be something like it burnt my toast, and I was like, I'm done. Like you couldn't hold it in anymore.
Did you ever kind of in the relationship kind of think, oh well, if I wasn't being like that type of thing?
Yeah, like I always used to think, like, because of the things he would say to me, like, oh, you're cheating on me, like talking to other guys, that I would think like, oh, maybe if I come across that, maybe if I didn't open that Snapchat from that random guy that's just added me, or maybe if I didn't have all these social medias, or maybe if I didn't post on TikTok, he wouldn't treat me like this. And then I kind of sat down and realised, I was like, no, like you should be able to go out and do whatever you want, whenever you want, regardless if you're in a relationship.
And did you think like he's being like this because I'm being like that, or like maybe I'm just as bad? So
yeah, I used to think like if I was over emotional about something and he would get angry over it, I used to think, oh, like I'm just being like a pure crybaby. Like, he always used to always say like, maybe you should go see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, maybe you should go see a psychiatrist. He used to date like snidely, so he would like say something but try and act as if he was trying to look out for me. So like I had lost a lot of weight when I was with him, and he used to do things like put a fiver up next to me and like take a video of me and be like, you're built like the side of a fiver, and like laugh about things and be like, you need to go to the gym, you need to buy weight gainer, you need to do this, that and the next thing. And then I would go do it and I would be like, oh, it's just not working, like I can't eat as much, or like I'm not gaining weight, I'm not getting anywhere. And you'd be like, oh, I was just trying to help you out, like I'm not trying to put you down. And I'm like, but you were, because you said all these things. And then he'd be like, but that's not how I meant it.
like they
it's
secretly,
just pure gaslighting you.
They secretly put things in your head that you're no good. Like, see my ex, right? See, because I'm a really reactive person, right? So I can get really angry, right? If I snap. My ex, he would go like that. I remember one night we were out. He wasn't a pure narcissist or that, right? We were both quite bad, like just in the relationship. He used to say things to me, like we would be out drinking with all our pals, whatever, and he would go like that. Oh, shut up, you fucking cow, or something really low, and I'd be like, who the fuck are you? And then everyone would be
that's
like,
me.
You're pure nasty to him. You're pure nasty to him. Everyone used to think she's pure nasty to him. Like he doesn't say anything to her, and she's always shouting at him, right? But he did. He used to say things right up in my ear to try and get a reaction. So he looked like the poor one. I used to tell Ben all the time, like, because he was my best friend at the time. Listen, he says stuff to me all the time, like he's pure winding me up all the time. And he was like, everyone thought, oh, it's just overreacting. And then one day I remember, we were walking up this hill and he came up to me and was like, oh, shut up, you fucking bitch, or something. Like, he called me a bitch, and Ben turned around and went, I fucking heard that. I finally heard it. He went, I've just heard you whispering into her ear, she's a fucking bitch. And she didn't even do it, and she was walking up a hill. Do you know what I mean? He was like, you're a fucking bitch in my ear.
I used to be with somebody like, I wasn't even with them. We were so, like, we shouldn't have ever been allowed in house parties together because we just fought and we were just so toxic. But he used to say things like under his breath, and he'd be like, look at the state of you. And then I would be like, oh, like, get out my face and like push him, and then that would be his reaction to be able to like hit me or do something to me. And then everybody would be like, well, you started that because you shoved him. Like, no, he said something under his breath to me, so like, you just weren't there to hear it.
Yeah. And then it makes you look bad.
I've never ever been in a relationship with anyone that said anything like, well, I've been called a bitch in an argument, shit, but I've never been with someone nasty like that.
I get really nasty when I argue though.
Same, I call
I'm
them
like, you fucking ugly tramp, look at the state again, you're never going to get a girl as good as me, you fucking tramp.
That's me.
I come out with it all. I dig deep.
Same. And then especially if I'm drunk, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be like,
what did I say?
And then deep down I'm like, I probably didn't mean all that, but like I'm just got to say I didn't.
Yeah, I'm so petty when it comes to like arguments and stuff. Like I can't let it go.
No, neither. I can't.
I'm actually a lot better. I try.
I know. Seeing that me and Kieran spoke, we were like, what's your like worst trait? Like mine is like going to the extreme. So like when I argue with somebody, so I've toned myself down a bit for now.
I don't think I ever will.
I know. It just comes out. It's the scheme bird in me.
Everyone.
For all you people that call me a scheme bird in the comments, fuck you.
And guys, I don't even live in a scheme, so
I do.
I do as well.
I keep calling me a scheme bird, and I don't even live in a scheme.
I know. Why are you the scheme?
I don't know. They keep calling me that. I live in Larkhall, and that does scream scheme. So,
yeah, true.
So, going back to obviously like relationships and stuff, and like how he made you feel and everything. Do you think you lost a lot of self-worth?
I had lost a load of weight. I was trying to do things myself to make myself happy, but nothing was making me happy because I was trying to go to the gym to gain a bit of weight. It wasn't happening. I ended up becoming so addicted to bleaching like the front bits of my hair that all my hair started to fall out. It was like wee things that he would do as well. They would be like, why are you trying to do your hair like everybody else, or you don't suit yourself like your makeup like that, why are you going out dressed like that? I felt like I was dressed like a fucking tramp 24/7 because
he wasn't
letting me like wear certain things. He would take all my money and go spend it on other things, so I couldn't even go out and buy stuff. So like I just felt like a shell myself. I didn't even have a personality at the point as well. Like if I had done something that was funny, he'd be like, you're embarrassing. And I'm like, you're embarrassing, look, it says your forehead.
Did you ever to yourself like, he wouldn't cheat on me if
I looked a certain way?
I think I went through a stage where I thought like everybody that his ex was blonde. Like I got on with his ex really, really well, but his ex was blonde and she was like quite built. Like she used to go to the gym. She had like all these tattoos and stuff. And I used to say like, oh, I want to go get tattoos. It wasn't like because I wanted to look like a bitch. Like I wanted to just go get them. And he was like, nah, you won't suit tattoos. And I almost felt as if he didn't want me to go get like lip filler or tattoos or do my hair a certain colour.
Because then you'd realise that you're better than him.
He'd be like, oh, like why is she doing so well for herself and whatever. And the one thing he always says to me was, do not dye your hair dark because I'll finish with it. And as soon as I come out of the relationship, I put a bright box over my head. And then I went like all different colours and then I ended up just going black. I feel as if that's why he didn't want me to do that entire time, because I've never felt more comfortable within myself since I gained the weight back, went and get tattoos and that again. I'm just like, it's so weird. And he used to like do things with tattoos. I was actually thinking about this last night, that I had went and got the Pennywise one in my arm because it's one of my favourite films, and he was like, oh yeah, that'll be so cool. And that a week later, and I went and got it done, and he was like, you copied my idea. And I was like, what? That's the one that said I was going to get a Pennywise tattoo, and he's like, no, like I said I was going to go get it.
See,
like,
that actually ties in with like my past relationship. He tried to become like me. His personality was like me. So he wanted to start. So we'd literally been speaking for 2 weeks, right? And he was like, so, and I'd been getting into modelling at this point. This was 2020, and he was like, he'd posted up in his private story that he'd applied for a model agency, and then he texted me, he was like, by the way, if you see my private story, like, I'm not copying you. And I remember I was in Marks and Spencer's on the line, and I was like, you've never mentioned anything to do with that, right? So then obviously I was like, right, it's alright, it's just one thing. And then obviously as the relationship progressed, my mum even noticed, she went, he's the exact same as you, and that's why you love him that much, because he's you, and you love you.
Like, and it's like
they want to date everything you want to date, every movie, every song, everything you want to do. They're like, yeah, I love that.
They want to become you.
Yeah, he was me. He had no personality.
I feel like a lot of people don't have a personality when
I
know
like that. People that love you as well, right? He knew that people loved me, so like he was like, really people love me if I'm like her or whatever. Fuck knows what's on in their head.
I think because they've not been loved enough themselves, or like because
we're making excuses here.
I know,
but
I think because nobody thinks they're interested in that, they're just like, oh right, well, I'll just mirror their entire personality and then people will like me. But everybody sees through him.
Do you think it's conscious or unconscious? I think it's unconscious. I don't think they'd know they're doing it.
I really don't think they even know they're doing it. Because when I think back on some things that he used to do, I'm like, surely you're not, like, surely you know you're doing planning that. But then I'm like, he's thick.
I actually want your opinion. Why do you think if they hate you that much, basically, right, they act like they hate you, why do they stay with you? I want to know that.
I think it's a whole power thing.
Yeah, power.
And all genuine.
Like, why?
I think because they can't take control in their own life.
Yeah.
If they can control somebody else's. Because I always looked at it at a point, he didn't have a good upbringing.
Yeah.
But he, like, to me, he was always treated better. Like, he had the best of house, the best of clothes. I had everything handed to him, like a good job and all that. So you didn't have a terrible upbringing. You weren't in and out of care. You didn't have, like, a childhood with no parents or whatever. Your parents are still together. But I think because he didn't have like his own like whereabouts of doing things, and he used to kind of get bullied when he was younger, he took that and become the bully because he started to enjoy the power so much that he took it too far. And I'm like, well, you could have left me out of that equation.
I know. See, that was nice.
I know. Do you think he ever did love you?
I'll be honest, no. I think there was points where his mask kind of slipped a wee bit and he was like, you genuinely did feel love. But I think between me and his other baby mum, it was all just a big mind game.
Why do they come back like, no, I want you back, I love you? But it obviously has power. But like then, like when you were in the relationship, did you kind of feel like, oh, he does love me, like he does want me back?
I think it was like, see the whole like breadcrumbing thing they do, and it's like they'll lay out like a wee bit of bread and you're like, it's just enough for you to go, right,
that's what my mum says. She's like, they reel you out and then they reel you back in, they keep doing it.
And it's like as if your brain starts chasing that constant, because you're like, oh, but they were like that at the start, like maybe I'll get that person back and they'll change again. And then you realise that it just goes round in a circle, like round and back. It's not even like a circle, it's like as if it's like a big weird did you stop bounce off one another, and then you would think, all right, well this is going like it was at the start, so maybe we're getting somewhere, and then they'll go out and they'll cheat on you, and then they'll come back and accuse you of something, and then they'll go no contact and you're back at square one,
and then you're sad because they're no contact.
Did you know he was cheating on you during the relationship?
I think when I look back on it now,
you did.
I did, but I think I just didn't want to believe it because there was so many times there was proof. Like I remember one night he was in mine and then he'd left, and it got to about 6 o'clock and I knew that was the last train for him to get home, and I was like, I've still not heard from him. So I tried to phone him, no answer, phoned his mum. Well, do you know what, if he doesn't come in then that's his problem. And I'm like, no, because he's going to jail, like I'm going out and I'm going to go look for him. I spent the entire night, it was pissing down, it was middle of winter, went out looking for him everywhere. He was nowhere in sight. His mum came and got me and we both went looking for him. He came up the street like outside the chippy that we were sat at, and he didn't realise I was in a car, and he was like, shit, like, but I just kind of thought, oh, like, he's not expected me to be in the car out looking for him, and he's maybe thought, like, shit. He come in and chased me back in the house, and I was like, you need to go home, like, I can't be bothered. And next night I found out he cheated on me with a girl. But he'd manipulated me so much, like, no, that never happened. It wasn't like that. Like, she was trying to come on to me, but I pushed her away and that, like, and I was like, see, if you had just been honest and went, I was in this girl's house, by the way, I probably wouldn't have thought anything about it. I would have been none the wiser, but because you've not told me, and then people have told me that you've cheated on me, I'm obviously going to think that.
I know, and they never tell you. Like, but when
they never tell you, but you know what, like, I think they don't want to tell you because obviously they know you're going to leave them, right? And they love being loved, they love all the shit you do for them, that's why they just don't say fuck all.
They're basically getting like mummy.
Looking back, like, what do you think made you stay for so long? Like, why did you not leave?
I think I just kind of wanted to prove a point which I wasn't proving. Like,
to yourself.
Like, I think everybody kind of had this like vision of them. They're like, no, he's not good for you, and I'm like, but I want to prove it because I want to prove to my mum, I want to prove to my friends, I want to prove to myself he can be like a family and we can all be a family together. And then it started to get to a point where he wasn't even bothering me coating anymore, and I'm like, this just isn't working. Like, I can't do this anymore.
What was the turning point? What day were you like, this is it?
It was just a random day, like 2 years ago. It's actually 2 years ago tomorrow that I left him.
My God. Happy anniversary.
I think I just woke up one day and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. There was a load of things that was going on at the time that he was so nasty towards me for, and I was like, I feel like if I get back with him now, I'm going to look like a real total idiot. And then I started making like the TikToks, and I felt like, I just felt, well, this is no going back now because everybody knows what he's done to me and like most of the stories. So if I go back now and I was like, hi guys, by the way, that's me.
That was the same as me. He was convincing me that we should run away together and all that, and I was like so down for it. I was like, we're going to get back together, let's run away. Plan was to move to Manchester and all that, right? I was like, right, sorted, let's do it. And then I was like, right, well, I still want to do social media, like I'm going to have to tell people, like, and my mum's going to have to know where I'm going and blah blah blah. I'm going to look like a right idiot if I go back. So I was like, nah, and thank God I didn't, because
I think they do that as well. They try and like take you away. Like, this happened to one of my friends that she had her own bought house, like just like the town up from us, and he was like, oh, like sell the house, we'll use the money, we'll go moved halfway across Scotland and we'll go live there. And she went and done it, and she wasn't like FaceTime us, she was moaned at if she come down. She was accused of cheating on people in the Indian shop that she worked in doing like deliveries, and I'm like, why are you living that life? And it was one day she just got up and she come down to my house and she's like, I'm leaving. She left her cats behind, all her stuff in her house. She was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, he's done that on purpose to isolate me.
Because that's what they do. Like, I never seen my mum. I had like literally had no pals in that my relationship. I never seen my mum. He wanted to move to Manchester, like start a family and all that,
and that you don't know, like, and you don't know anybody. I think when you want to do something like that, you need to do it for yourself and not just because somebody's put that idea in your head. Because I'm very like that. Like, if somebody tells me, oh, let's go to the gym, I'm like, right, let's go to the gym. And then I go to the gym and I'm like, why did I come here? I regret things so easily, so fast. Like, and I don't really think about it at the time. It's just repercussions afterwards that I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
So like, if your friends were like, you need to leave him, and then you did, you'd like, oh, why did I do that? So you had to do it
for you.
Like, I always say to people, like, when people come into my TikToks and that, and they're like, how did you leave? And I'm like, go back until you can anyway, because I didn't love it. I knew I wasn't in love with him for like the final, that was in like May or something, that I started to get sick of him, and I left him in October, so that's like what, 6 or 7, 8 months. I was repulsed by him at this point, and then obviously he said his grand died like 16 times, and
oh God, that is so
the little lasagna was the turning point for me.
That was the turning point.
You owe me 2, if you're watching this, you owe me 2 779.
If you're watching this, Get the lasagnas out.
Also, I want a new bed. Anybody else want anything? We'll just use all sorts right now.
I'm trying to see what else.
New phone I need.
We all want iPhone 15s. They always need therapy, but we're the ones that end up having to go to therapy.
Over there shit because they didn't get therapy.
But I tried therapy so many times and it just didn't work for me. And then when I started doing TikToks, I'm like, I feel so much better now that I'm actually telling my story. And it's got so many other people to be like, right, I've now left my ex because you've made me kind of waking up and realise. And I'm like, see, even if I can help like one person, I've done something, because I never had that when like I had everybody going like at me, you need to leave, and I'm like, I'm not ready.
I think as well, see, when you're in that type of relationship, you're like, is this just me? But then because you're on TikTok and you're telling everyone, people are watching it and they're realising it from an outsider's point of view, and they're like, exactly what I'm doing right now. Like I'm staying with this person. Do you know what I mean? And it's mental. But talking of like people, like helping people in that, we actually asked her our Insta story.
It's very what advice she's want from us, and we're going to try and help.
How to get over your toxic ex.
Get under a new toxic person.
No, focus on yourself, girls. Go out with your friends, family, go to the gym, do it you love.
I would say stay away from drinking as much as well, because I went
the depression after it.
I just felt horrible after it.
And then you're like hungover, you're like, I need a hug.
No, I know.
Or like you end up with somebody else new in your bin, you're like, ew, who are you?
Did that ever happen? Like, see, after you're out of toxic, I don't know if it's just normal, any relationship, because I've only been in toxic relationships other than my current, but when you left, everybody else is like gave you the heebie-jeebies.
Like, I still get like that now. I feel as if like I'm at a point now where I just don't have feelings for anybody, and then I'll go, I actually kind of do like them, and then they do something, I'm like, you make me feel sick.
That was me.
Something
like
so stupid, like they dropped a tea bag,
and you're like, oh, yeah, that's the same as
imagine
me. Like,
a tea bag.
this is the wrong episode. We're going to do an episode including this, but I just want to say this right. An ick is the person. You can't physically get an ick from anyone that you are in love with, right? So this guy used to actually hate him. I remember he texted me, right? He was rubbing his belly, right? He was his phone was like this, right? And he was rubbing his belly. Right? He captioned the Snapchat, I've got indigestion.
That gave me that.
That's the same guy that couldn't kiss. Remember I was telling you, kiss that wash machine. Guys, he was just the biggest ick ever.
No,
but like, why are you sending me that? But then if Bailey had sent me that, I'd be like, oh, yum.
You'd be like, get some Rennie's, baby.
Yeah, literally. But this guy was just pure icky. I hope you can help girls. Obviously, keep her anonymous. She met up with her ex the other night and they had sex in his car. His feelings are clear and he doesn't want a relationship with her, but he still loves her.
I think that's just pure breadcrumb. It's like a wee cat with a little ball of string, and you just.
He doesn't want to feel tied down.
Yeah,
but he still loves her.
It's like giving her false hope for anything.
Yeah. How can you love her? If you loved her that much,
you would stay with her.
You wouldn't like need. Why would you not want to be in a relationship?
Yeah, you'd. Oh, that. Yeah.
Go out and get some new dick.
Like, no, honestly, just focus on yourself, block him. No contact is
no
key.
Communication,
like, honestly, I feel like you can't go over someone if you're still in contact with them.
Literally, I've always said that.
Yeah, you can't.
Every single time. Because if they've won you over however many times, right? They know how to get under your skin.
Even if you're still being pals.
They know how to get under your skin.
I feel as if you can stay pals with somebody, you either they still love them or you
never did. Yeah.
So I genuinely think they know you, they know how to get under your skin. So leaving that door open. For them to be able to come back and maybe say one sentence that's going to make you go, oh fuck, actually I want them back.
I know.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You need to get them out of your life.
Yeah, definitely. No contact, get them out of your life and then focus on yourself.
Is that what you've done? Did you block?
Yeah, I've gotten blocked on everything.
Yeah.
I think he still watches my TikToks through like a fake account, but I can't tell because it's all like user 1, 2, 3 stuff like.
I actually worry for people that are married. Think about all the stuff they need to go through, their mortgage and all that, like to split it up. Like that's hard to do. No contact.
I still get him coming back to my house, and I'm like, you are insane. Like there's been times where
unannounced.
I've like it knocks on my window, bangs on it. I've been trying to get him out of the house for ages. Like there was one night I was dog sitting for my pal, and we fell asleep dead early. We'd woke up again. I was like, I don't know when a dog goes to the toilet, so I'm just going to take her out the back. Came back in, she never come back in the bedroom, and I was like, what's she doing? I heard her barking, and I went out to my living room, and the dog was sat barking, and he was stood across the street on his bike in his wee Gilly. I think that's another thing that gave me with his cap, and he's staring in my window like across the street, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then he got on his bike and hung me away, but he obviously never seen what kind of dog it was, and he was probably like, oh my god, like she's got a big massive dog in there, and I'm sat here with a little like miniature poodle. I'm like, you're insane.
That's actually stalking.
They do turn up.
That's stalking.
See, the amount of times I've had like unknown phone calls and he's just sat there breathing. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
that's fucking, and you know it's him. Like why?
I can smell your breath through the phone.
We also done a poll on our Instagram story, guys. If you don't follow the Instagram, follow Causing Chaos Podcast on Insta, because we always get you involved. We did a poll on our Instagram, right? And it's like, how many people have actually like been in, have any of you been in a toxic relationship that you're too afraid to leave because you're like afraid of either them or hurting them or like hurting yourself? And 78% said yes.
That's bad.
I know. That is crazy.
But do you want to know, I was driving to work and I was sat outside in my car and Rihanna's Stay was on. It was like, it's not much of a life you're living. And I like went to check the poll and it was 78%, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking sad. Really green. I was like, oh, these poor girls.
I think as well, because you waste so much time.
I know.
Like, it's
I
like
feel
you're like,
I've wasted my whole 20s in that relationship, and I'm like, I'm 27 now, and I'm going to be a bore by the time I'm 30. Like,
yeah,
I just don't
you
want
just
to do
waste
anymore.
so
like,
much.
I'm just so tired.
Been brain.
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why you don't want to leave. Like, you want to make it work because you're like, oh, I've already wasted fucking however long, 2, 3, 4 years on you, so I might as well waste a couple more. No, obviously not, but like try and make it work, especially with a kid. I want to make sure it's the right person before I actually have a kid, because I don't think I could
feel
do
like
that.
So many people rush into having a win because they think it's going to save their relationship.
Yeah,
and 9 times out of 10
they do that.
breaking point. You could have been with somebody for 10 years and it just falls to
my
shit.
ex, right, I was going to get my implant out, right, and I was going to get the new one in, right, because it was expired, and he went like that, I think you should just keep it out.
Nah, that's what Colton's dad said to
he
me
went
as
like
well.
that, no, you should keep it out. I went, listen, we're not in a stable relationship, because we did move out and that, right, but he was like, no, I think you should just keep it out. Like, I think having a baby would settle me. And I went, having a baby would settle you? And he went, yeah, I think like we're ready.
I think it's like literally like, cause my fucking childhood, my dad's a narcissist on this topic, right, and he was a fucking cunt, and the shit that he put my mum through, I just don't want that to happen to me. So, so my mum literally said to me, like, she's so glad I did not have a kid with my ex, and the only thing we had together was my cats, which now me and Bailey look after. I don't want that to happen, so that's why I'm like pure, like, I don't want to have a Wayne. My mum thought I was going to have a Wayne at 16, and I was like, no, like, I need to make sure the father's nothing like my dad.
Yeah. That was our episode.
Thanks for coming, Amy.
Have you got any words of advice for the people listening that are in a toxic relationship?
Keep going back until you can't go back anymore.
Unless it's dangerous.
Yeah. And when you're over them, just go out and find someone new, but don't get into something right away. Try and stay single, but go out and have fun. Go on dates with people and enjoy
don't
yourself.
fall for the same trap, like where because you've been in such a bad relationship, someone comes along that seems so nice that you're like,
don't walk into everything with rose tinted glasses. Basically.
And trust no one. Keep your eyes open.
Yeah, I literally
always
don't trust anybody. Like, see people that they'll do like the slightest, but like, they can say something in the slightest tone now, and I'm like, nah, I don't trust you.
Bailey shouted at me, right? So Bailey does not shout at me. Sorry guys, I know we're wrapping up, but Bailey does not shout at me, right? And the other day I was standing and he went, you know, got to pick your gym clothes up, and pure shouted at me, right? Like, because I left my dirty wash in the bathroom. But I just get such a fright because I was like, and he was pure like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know, it was a joke. No. Like, and generally he was saying it in a jokey way. He was like, could you know, my voice, it was joking, but I generally didn't. Like, it just felt like I was in, it was someone else being like that. I was like,
Kieran said to me, you're not going to pick your gym clothes up. I'd say, you fucking picked them up.
I just get such a fright. I don't know why. Like, because I know he's not like that. Like, if Bailey said that, I'd just be like, fuck off.
Whoa,
I was like,
that's not you.
Where does that came from? And I think it was like one of the ones, like, it takes you back to that
like
early situation. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, guys. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and leave a little panda down below if you made it to the end.
Also guys, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Like, you need to subscribe. Me and Ebony are doing a giveaway.
I know, because some people are watching our videos and not subscribing. So
you need to subscribe, because me and Ebony are doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. We're doing 1,000 on TikTok, 1,000 Insta, 1,000 YouTube, and all we've got left is YouTube, so
make sure you subscribe.
But bye.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.